Hi, loves. I'm Jill Alana, and I'm your host of the Soul Manifestation Podcast. The best way I can describe myself is as a manifestation mentor, a shamanic healing facilitator, and as a psychic intuitive. 5 years ago, I got pushed into my spiritual awakening, and my third eye got blasted wide open. They genuinely thought I was a schizophrenic. Later learning it was clairvoyance. Through many initiations by my higher self, I have learned the skills to manifest and heal myself. Some examples include when I was told I'd go blind and I healed my eye with energy, when my dog got stolen and I manifested getting him back, which was literally a miracle. Listen to the podcast. When I manifested beating out 3,000 girls for a national commercial. I went from penny pinching and spending my allocated $25 a week on groceries, literally living off rice, beans, and peanut butter, to now building a multiple six-figure-a-year business serving clients all over the globe. I have now become the creator of my reality and the victor of my story, creating a life of love and luxury. And I'm here to teach you to do the same. I am not special in my ability to manifest. And I know this because I've shared these tools and understandings with clients all over the world to help them manifest things such as getting drafted to the NHL, manifesting sacred soulmate relationships, manifesting all expense paid for trips, building successful businesses, doing what they love, and expanding revenue from nearly filing for bankruptcy to manifesting up to $2,100 profit weeks. The evidence is that these tools actually work. Through all of these miracles and many more, I realized how powerful we are when we choose to be the victor and creator of our reality. And I want to teach you guys how to do it. The intention of this podcast is to give you deeper insight on how the spiritual, and I want to teach you guys how to do it. The intention of this podcast is to give you guys deeper insight on how the spiritual science of manifestation actually works, share where I see a lot of people get stuck in manifestation, and inspire you of what's possible for you too. I love you, and let's go to the show. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Soul Manifestation Podcast. So today I'm going to answer a question that somebody asked about manifestation and kind of what's happening as she is stepping into her power with the people around her. So she said, I have a question that's quite important in understanding what's happening in my current circumstances in regards to me manifesting from a victim mindset, meaning she used to be manifesting, aka this energy of when we're in a victim mindset, we're in the energy of manipulation. Of course, it was coming from a wound and fear, but she was in that, and now she's stepping into her power. And she says, my question is, I just started to notice as I get more aware and in my power, the people that once helped me can no longer help me unless I am upset or powerless. Ooh, does that mean I associate being a victim with abundance and my current environment is reinforcing those beliefs? And do those people want me to thrive, or do they prefer me as the victim? Okay, so there's like four kind of levels. There's, if we take abundance and money, there's codependence, and then there's independence, and then there's interdependence, and then there's union. Okay. So we have these like relationships with this being called money. And when we're in codependence, it's like we're thinking we need to rely on like a specific job or person or client or whatever, raise investment in order to be a match to abundance. Abundance is actually our natural frequency. So this woman is starting to remember her natural base frequency and clear the constructs and the brainwashing and the codependent type energetics. When we are in codependent type energetics, whether it's in relationship or finances or whatever, the people that we're in codependent relationship with do not want us to get into independence because it threatens that connection. The problem is that connection has been built in a victim energetic, which means it's trapping both of you. So to answer the question, no, those people don't want you to thrive with where they are right now in their victim mentality. It's not good or bad. It just is what it is. These people are unconsciously afraid that you are going to leave them or that you're going to become a version of you that they don't recognize or they can't have that trauma bond with. Trauma bonds are not healthy. They are not useful. They cause a lot of distress in our life, a lot of actually sickness and illness can come from trauma bond energetics. It's the same energy as manipulation, which is 0.9 hertz, which is the same energy as fear and as disease. This is the frequency that hospitals exist at. So some people don't understand that these energetics of victimhood, victim mentality, 0.9 hertz, firstly, they're very, very low on the frequency bandwidth. Secondly, the relationships that are built in this are literally causing you harm to your health, to your wealth, to your well-being, to your vitality, to definitely to your soul pulse, soul path. And so what's happening energetically is these people are like, oh my God, she's shifting, she's claiming her power, she's stepping into independence. And then from there, you can step into interdependence. And ideally, we want most of our relationships to be an interdependence or a union. Union is when two people or more have, usually two people, the same vision, the same intention. You can be in union in any type of relationship. It's not necessarily like romantic. You can be in union with like a coach or a mentor or a business partner or a friend that has the same and shares the same intention, or like with money is like when you're listening to your soul, what do you desire me to do for you to work with me, to come through me? What do you desire for me to do with abundance that comes through me? And how can I serve in a way that's in alignment for this abundance to come? Okay, so union's like the highest of the 4 levels, but if your relationships are built in this frequency of disempowerment, of codependence, and somebody could unconsciously have like hooks in you, wanting to keep you small. I have seen this so much. I've experienced this because if you are all of a sudden financially independent, you go into independence and you're like, I can make ends meet. Actually, I can thrive. Firstly, like make ends meet and then go into surplus and then thrive financially. And I don't need to rely on this person, or I don't need to rely on this specific job, or I don't need to rely on this partner or this inheritance. That can be really scary if these people who there's like weird, if you're watching the video, there's like weird, like little lights in my eye. It's my ring light. I'm like, they look really weird. Anyways, human moment there. That can be a threat to them because they're trying to get power over you because they don't feel powerful by having financial reign over you, so to speak. I have experienced this. It's awful. It sucks. This was actually the beginning years ago when I walked out of a partnership with somebody who was not aligned, and I felt trapped because I was living with them and I was in the States and it was like COVID and I didn't have jobs. And anyways, like that's when I made the choice, like I need to figure out this like money thing, because I never want to be in a relationship with somebody that I don't want to be because I feel like they're providing for me, or somebody who's abusive or whatnot. I see a lot of women get in this when they're married and then they're like, yo, my husband's abusive, or this is like not in alignment, and they feel like they can't leave because the finances have been coming through the funnel of their partner, and they're not realizing the finances are actually coming from source through the partner. Okay, so that's a whole other conversation. But does this mean I associate being a victim with abundance? And my current environment is reinforcing those beliefs. So no and yes. So you being in victim is being in fear, and fear cannot coexist with love at the same moment. And love is the frequency of abundance. So fear is a frequency of scarcity. And victimhood is the frequency of scarcity. It's the same frequency as poverty and the same mindset and energetics. So it's not that you're associating the two, it's that you've forgotten your natural blueprint. And these constructs are overlaying your natural blueprint and driving your beliefs, thoughts, actions, behavior. So the beliefs need to be shifted at the very core level in the body, neurologically, and rewired to and doing this in the body, not just thinking thoughts differently or not just like journaling. Like that can be useful, but shamanic breath work is like my favorite modality that I bring clients through for the deepest core fears of shifting these energetics. Or sometimes they do quantum integration or clinical hypnosis. I mean, there's many modalities, but the point is that I use whatever I feel the client needs, and then I'll give them tools to integrate that and to prove that new belief correct. But it needs to be rewired in the unconscious mind, which is the body, somatics. So obviously I started doing my career, so to speak, has evolved in many ways, but somatics I was doing for traumas that caused addiction for a long time, facilitating that for clients. And then I've used those same things and then my understanding and my embodiment of abundance and manifestation to use those somatics specifically for that. So you kind of really have to understand both, to facilitate it. But the point is they need to be shifted in the body and then the neural pathways. Okay, so it means that you have been programmed. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You've been programmed that you need to be a victim, and it's like you need people to save you. And so those people that want an weird, distorted type of illusion of power over you are saving you financially because they want to have power over you, because they don't want to feel like they're losing you or don't have control over you because they're so insecure under the surface. This is the difference between ego manifestation and soul manifestation, which we're doing a masterclass on November 27th. And if it's after November 27th and you haven't signed up, we'll put the link below and you can sign up for the replay as well, where I'll go deeper into this. So yes, your current environment is reinforcing those beliefs. So you basically have codependent relationships. This is kind of like the narcissistic empath energetics. Dr. Ramani is amazing at this. I had the privilege of meeting her in September. She studies and talks and teaches about narcissistic patterns and abuse patterns, essentially. So I'm not saying it's abuse, but what I am saying is the energetics of being like the savior victim complex is in there. So your environment, the people that are in your environment or had been in your environment are feeling threatened by you realizing that your abundance doesn't come from them only. Because if they can keep you in the brainwashed program that your abundance comes from them and them alone, then they have power, a weird distorted type of like, honestly, like it's narcissistic power, but it's not real. It's the illusion of power over you because you're giving them that power. You have to realize that abundance, money, resources come through people, through businesses, through funnels, like through a spouse, for example, but it's not the spouse that is the source. God, source, universe is the source, and your higher self is a mini God. So you are the source, which is why learning to communicate with that, which is one thing I do with clients and I teach as well, is of the utmost importance so that you're not in codependent, distorted relationships feeling trapped. Soul entrapments. When I talk about soul entrapments, this is what I mean. This is a real life example what this woman had been trapped in and is going to shift out. She's already shifting out to soul sovereignty financially, sovereignty of relationship, meaning you got to choose the friendships, you got to choose the romantic partner. You're not at the whim of somebody else's resources because you realize you are the resource. You connecting to source, the earth, clearing clearing the traumas, that were distorting that reality and that truth of your power, then you realize you're the source, you're the portal. And this threatens these people because they know that, and they don't want you to know that, because they're very wounded and are afraid you're not going to choose them. So essentially, they're making you unconsciously reliant on them. The problem is that you don't need to be reliant on them. You just think that you're reliant on them. I've helped a lot of people leave actually marriages in this situation and start their own businesses and realize, oh my God, I'm resourced when I connect to myself and to source and the divine. How can I do that? Because I've been through it. There was a time in my life where I literally when I walked out of that relationship years ago, I didn't know where I was going to even stay that night. It's me and my dog. Not even just me. It's me and my dog, which was worse because I was worried about his well-being before mine. Anyways, miracles happened. Manifested a place to stay for many weeks and fed the fish in this mansion, temple, crypto mansion type thing. It was a vibe. Okay, so but I had to have the courage to walk out of that situation. And there was a vision that I saw not too long ago. Well, I've seen it multiple times actually. And it's these opportunities of money. And it's a lure right here. And you think you have to say yes to that, but it's out of soul alignment, meaning somebody's wanting you to use your physical body, or they're wanting you to be reliant on them or to work for them and only them. And that doesn't feel good in your soul, or you don't want to have romantic experiences with them and you feel you need to. I get it. I've been there. And so what I saw was the moment you say yes to that, it's a trap. Sorry, I was just teaching for 3 hours before this and I'm losing my voice. So, and I have a cold. Going through a big detox right now, energetically. So then all these other opportunities appear, but as soon as you said yes to the one out of alignment, these ones disappear. But the moment you say no to this one that is not in alignment, these ones just come flooding in, and there's way more abundance there actually. So this is self-honoring. It is one of the biggest key codes. And I did a whole podcast. Actually, I'll find the name on it so you guys can go back to it, about my journey with this. I am briefly interrupting the show to invite you to the Soul Manifestation Retreat. 4 days of the most transformational retreat experience of your life in May 2024 to liberate you to a life of love and luxury. Miracles happen at these retreats. Some past ones include manifesting 5 new aligned job offers, manifesting $100,000, manifesting citizenship a year earlier than expected, manifesting a huge producer reaching out to work with one of the attendees, manifesting a $4,000 tip, starting a new soul-aligned business, and so much more. You will learn no fluff, practical manifestation tools that actually fucking work. There will be deep healing, which is fundamental for manifestation, transformation, liberation work, utilizing shamanic breath work, my signature activations, embodiment exercises to transmute shame that are super fucking fun and I've never done at one of my past retreats. But this is a new tool that has changed my freaking life. Everyone is also getting an individualized manifestation circle. These are so powerful. Modality I created myself. Everyone's also getting an intuitive read while we're there, which I charge 4 figures for typically, but yes, you're all getting one included at the event. You'll get manifestation coaching. We're going to do manifestation coding, cacao ceremony, and so much more. I see you at the beautiful oceanfront resort looking out at the ocean on a powerful vortex, sipping cacao with soul family that you have been looking for after the most deeply liberating breath work in such an expansive energy of joy and bliss and creativity. Vibes. I know. The retreat is on early bird until December 15th, so do not miss out, and a number of the spots are already taken. The oceanfront resort we're staying at is also on 2 very powerful ley lines, creating a powerful vortex on top of the ones that we will be creating, which just amplifies all the miracles, manifestations, and healing. It includes a hot tub, cold dip, sauna, and we also have a phenomenal holistic private chef who makes the food literally as medicine. So I will see all the right, beautiful, aligned souls there, and I am so excited for those who are signing up. The choice that precedes all money and manifestation miracles. You'll understand on a deeper level of what I'm talking about. And so my advice for this woman, after I have a sip of water, firstly, is to start looking at all the energetic connections you have in your life. Who are your friends, maybe partner, anyone who's like providing for you, you're doing business with, that you work for. I want you to look at that energetic connection. What are you offering and what are you giving? Which ones do not feel good, clean, squeaky clean energy in soul alignment? You feel like you're giving too much and not receiving enough, or you feel like maybe you're receiving more than giving. Like, which don't feel in alignment? Which are you're like, oh my God, this guy's like flirting with me and I'm working for him, or he's like wanting to touch me and like, but he's my source of income. I've been there. As I said, go listen to that podcast episode. Look at these things and get clear on them. From there, you're going to have to decide that you're going to start letting these go and open space for more aligned opportunities. This is where the courage kicks in, and it's so scary because you're like, that was my source of income. It's not. It's a funnel. Source is the source. So when we connect more to source and our true self, we are more resourced. Source. Source would never have us, or God would never make us suffer, or God would never make us like offer up our bodies for money. God would never make us dress like I used to have to at certain serving restaurants in a way that made us feel comfortable in order to be resourced. These are traps and lies that you've been brainwashed into for a hidden agenda, which is not the podcast for this. Next, you're going to start writing a list of like 20 ways or 30 ways you could make money. Doesn't mean you have to, or it's going to come in this way. Gifts that you have, things you love doing, things that you're good at. How could you theoretically call in abundance by offering things? This could be babysitting. Like I said, I was offered a place to live for many weeks to feed the fish. Okay. That was high value to some people because they trusted me, they knew me, and they were going out of town. Okay. So don't underestimate the power of this. Then you're going to write those down, and then you're going to tune into the ones that give you energy the most. You're going to start opening your soul, opening your heart to the opportunities that are perfect and aligned for you. I have a free abundance activation. It is on my website, Jill Alana International. I'll link it below as well, the website, and then I'll also link the free abundance activation. Start using that. And then start communicating with your higher self and your soul and the earth and say, please support me. What can I do for you to support me? Like, how do you need me to show up? How do you need me to offer? And then start to tune in and listen. You can even do this for business. I do this all the time. I'm like, oh, I think I should launch this thing. But then my soul is like, actually, these people are the ones who need facilitation right now. Open a package for this. Okay. And then I do. And then all of a sudden, it's like a bunch of clients come flooding in from nowhere. Source brought them because I was listening. So these energetics there's a lot of intricacies obviously, and everyone's creator field is going to be different. There's like certain beliefs that need to be rewritten, etc. And I process this for these one-on-one. And we're also doing some deep processes on these with writing beliefs in the body, and then energetic ingredients for abundance, for money, for soul aligned money at my retreat. There's going to be one day just devoted to abundance. I'm so excited. It's in May. It's on the Sunshine Coast. We have amazing payment plans if you need them. So the link is in the bio, and I'll put up, the link is below as well. I'll put that. It's on early bird until December 15th. If you put a deposit before December 15th, you can lock down the early bird price, and I'm happy to do a payment plan that works for you as well and like supports your nervous system. There's 7 spots left, I believe. So I would not wait if you feel the call to come to that. And then, yeah, when this woman specifically said she wanted to book in with me, when I have openings, and also when she receives more abundance. So it is that choice of first opening your vessel to receive. When there is a universal law that when something is in soul alignment and is going to help our soul evolution, once we make the choice, the abundance, the resources will be available to us once we make the choice, and usually in a way we could have never expected. Just like when I manifested that trip to Cyprus to go study energy healing, and like I have done this so many times in my business, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I've used this technique to literally like manifest for my soul growth and for helping the soul growth of others, whether it's courses, teachers, sessions, etc. I know this to be true. So the point is, like, choose that you're stepping into that timeline. And then whatever feels like, I gave you some free offerings there. So use those tools. And then, and this is for everyone, not just the woman who asked this question. Obviously, I'm doing a whole podcast on it. Then it's like, I have lower ticket offerings specifically on money and abundance and activations on that. Then you can tune in. Okay, what feels like, okay, I think this one's going to help me. Maybe it's money miracle manifestation, which is 333, or maybe it's like a tuning into abundance, which is a 3.5 hour masterclass on abundance, on clearing and transmuting the fear so you can have access to your logic, to your intuition, and make a choice from love for anything in your life, because we never want to make choices from fear. That just leads into a disaster, and that gives us more experiences of fear. It's fine whether like you're saying yes or no to something, but you always want to make the choice out of love and a grounded place. Whenever I've invested out of fear, it's never panned out. Sometimes I've had invested out of courage, and I'm like, oh, this is like feels like a stretch, and like I'm excited, but like there's like a little bit scary. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the one that I'm talking about that's like, oh, save me. Like, never make an investment out of that. Like, clear that shit first, then choose. Is this an alignment? Do I feel like this is going to help my soul pass, soul pull? Or no, I don't feel like this is going to help my soul pass, soul pull. So then that's a no. It's all good. So anyways, the Tuning to Infinite Abundance like helps you. It's a 3.5 hour masterclass, talks about the energetics of abundance, not just money, but all abundance. There is a tool in there where I clear the fear for you. So you don't have to go through a whole process. I clear it for you, and then we do an abundance activation. So many miracles came from that. But anyways, my point is there's lower ticket offerings as well. That are options for anybody who's like, oh, I need like more abundance. And then we also have, there's a whole tab on my website. You can go look at the abundance tab, but just trust the intuition, the pull of what feels in alignment or doesn't. I just bought a couple courses yesterday, like literally last night. I'm like, does this feel in soul alignment? Yes or no? And I got a yes. And then I said, if I pass on this, it's in soul alignment. And then I got a no to passing. So I purchased it, trust that intuition. Sometimes it's going to be a no, and sometimes it's going to be yes. That's good. You want to have discernment. I wouldn't want somebody to buy an addictions course from me, like clearing addictions, if they're like looking for like money manifestation. Like, not every course suits everybody. Okay. I used to specialize with people clearing addictions, as I said. So that's why I use that example. Anyways, the next step is also just committing to the path of bringing people into your vortex, even if they're not there yet, who are happy for your growth, who celebrate your growth. This is so crucial. I'm literally in like communities and masterminds, like, yeah, for like the information, whatever, but more so for the vibe, for the community, for the uplifting of my successes and other successes. You want people who are happy for your success and are also going to be there through the tough times and love you unconditionally, but not tear you down. You're noticing there's people in your life that want to tear you down because they're so wounded and they're not willing to do the healing. You've already stepped into this path of self-empowerment, of healing, of growth, of expansion, and that's so beautiful. And it can be scary to shine our light because people want to bring us down. Trust me, I know. I get it. I've gone through this so many times. Surround yourself with communities that really, truly have your best interest in mind. And a coach or a mentor, like the three people who are influencing the most right now are my coach, my mentor, and my teacher. And they are all masters in what they do. And yes, I train with them and learn from them. But the biggest thing is that it's like this nurturing energy. It's kind of like we are like a nucleus, and the atoms around it matter the most. The people around us matter the most. They have my best interest in mind. I know that because I've intuitively tested and vetted. But even if you don't know how to do that, like you can tune in to, does this person have my best interest in mind? How do they act when you have wins? Are they jealous? I had a bunch of friends who were so jealous and would talk behind my back and just thought I got everything handed to me. And I'm like, no, I continue to show up. I walk through the fire. I've gone through a lot of initiations. I train my craft daily. I have earned everything in my life, in my business, in my skill sets. I have earned it from training, from alignment, from listening to my intuition, from doing the thing that's scary that my human self doesn't want to do. It wasn't easy when I just picked up and moved to Costa Rica with my dog in a suitcase. Like my intuition's like, go. I'm like, oh my God, almost going blind and healing my eye, like manifesting my dog getting stolen, then manifesting him back. Like these were all initiations. What happened all of last year was a huge initiation. It was training for me to see deeper truths and have discernment and teach other people those skills. Podcasts on that to come. But the soul path is never the easy path. It requires courage. And so you really want to be surrounded by people who are embodying that vibration of courage, of showing up for themselves, of understanding and the humility of what that takes. Most people don't get in life what they desire because they're not willing to do what it takes to get there. The only difference between somebody who has built the life, the business, the marriage, the community that they truly desired and continue to build that is they're willing to do the things that the normal average person isn't willing to do. And so the normal average person that isn't like, I'm not labeling it. It's just that these are the people that are happy being in stagnancy and the soul literally dying. That's what happens when we're stagnant. Those people, they don't want us to succeed because they feel inadequate, because they're not willing to show up and actually do the work, the inner work, looking at who they're being, building those skill sets, turning gifts into crafts. They're not willing to show up and do that. So they try and hold us back. We live in an abundant world. We can all win. But when people don't understand that, or they don't want to do the work that's required, they don't want to look at themselves raw and real. And it's a process. Nobody's perfect. We never get to perfection. We get to excellence. When they're not willing to do that, then they don't want anybody else to do it because it feels like a threat. And that's exactly what's going on with you And I'm sorry it's this happening. And at the same time, it's happening for you to see the truth of people that you've allowed in your inner circle. Look, I guess it was like this year, I really assessed who was in my inner circle and looked at the energetics of the what I was offering and what I was receiving. And it was like, honestly, most of it was like give, 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 give. And I didn't actually feel like I was receiving. And a lot of these people deeply, deeply betrayed me, like fundamental lack of integrity. And I'm just like, it's fine, love and light, just allow them in. No, fuck that shit. You can love them from a distance and not allow that behavior. Unconditional love starts with love of self. It doesn't mean, oh, just allow them in and love them and whatever. This is what's the distortion that's so deeply going on in the spiritual community, which is allowing people to quite honestly just be shitty people sometimes. Oh, that person's married. It's okay. I'm going to seduce their husband or try and seduce their husband, and then they'll accept me anyways because love and light. This shit's going on rampantly. I've had clients that have gone through this. I've seen it. Oh my God. And so, no, that's not a friend. They don't give a shit actually about you, because if they did, they wouldn't do that. So do them a favor and be like, no, thank you. Peace out. And it will force them to look at themselves, or they're just going to go do that to other people and not have real, genuine, authentic friends that have their back. That's what I care about in my life. I don't care about if somebody is so-called spiritual or not spiritual. Some of my like dearest friends that I can count on no matter what aren't spiritual, but they're high conscious beings. They know they have values that I align with. Spiritual doesn't mean doing the meditations or the activations or the rituals or whatever. Like, well, I should say there's a difference between the spiritual path and the soul path, soul pull, the higher self path, which I'm going to do a whole podcast on. But we're all spiritual. Just because you do like a meditation doesn't mean you're a high conscious being. A high conscious being knows the power of integrity, of respect, of honoring. And if they're going in there and like meddling with, like your life in a way that's unintegrous because they're so deeply wounded that they need a married person to give them attention or to sleep with them, that's so distorted. Do you see the depth of this? But that shit's going on all the time. And so I see this with my clients, and I can be the clear backboard to clear the trauma that even let them allow those people in their life. Like, no. And then to give them the actionable steps to take. And sometimes that means, I see your true colors. Thank you for letting me see them. Peace. I'm opening space for somebody who's more in alignment, has my best interest in alignment, and I have their best interest in alignment. And it wasn't playing these like weird, funky, distorted games. Not the vibe. Not the vibe. And it will take so much like mental, physical, spiritual, emotional energy if you just allow that shit in your life. So the point is, I know I just went on a whole rampant. This doesn't seem as severe, but yes, energetically, these people are trying to hold you back because of their deep wounds, and they're wanting power over you because they're afraid you're going to leave them. A healthy relationship, a healthy friendship, a business relationship, romantic relationship is when two people choose to come into union, choose to come into a romantic relationship, choose to come into a friendship, choose to come into business together because it's benefiting both. Win-win, both and vibes. Those that are wanting to be superior, it's like the popularity thing in high school. Like, just grow up. Anyways, not you, but the people in this energy. Win-win. The most successful people in the world that have holistic success, that aren't doing what I call dirty money, which is harming people to make money, that are really creating win-wins. Those people always think in win-win, power to power. I don't care if this is a mentor-client relationship, power to power. I always look at my clients aren't like beneath me. I see them in their power. I see their gifts. I help activate those gifts. I help them see their power and embody that. my coach doesn't look at me as like inferior. My mentor doesn't look at me that way. My teacher doesn't. Like, it's power to power. We all have different gifts. And so what I'm seeing for you is you starting to surround yourself by people that have your best interest in mind, that want to see you win. And anybody who's truly living in abundance, anybody who's truly like done the work and doing the work, and like honestly is just a good person with integrity to be around, they want what is best for you. And that's what I'm seeing you calling more of into your life. Start surrounding yourself by these energies, even if it just means like watching content of those people to start with. Okay. And yeah, I hope that helps. For anybody who is interested in my retreat, those people are the people you want to surround yourself with. We have like some badass people coming that have signed up from all over the world, from Europe, from the States, from Canada, like vibes. These people are amazing. That is what you want to step into. I have gone to a lot of retreats and events and trainings and such to meet like amazing, amazing, amazing people. Literally, sometimes I just go because I want to meet people. Although the level of facilitation of any events I now go to, I have a lot more discernment with for another podcast. So vet the facilitator. Anyways, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope that was valuable. And we will see you next week, or maybe even later this week, on the Soul Manifestation podcast. If anybody has any questions, by the way, DM me at Jill Alana Nixon on Instagram, and we will put those into like a document of questions to start to answer on the podcast. We have a lot of podcasts that I have already committed to as well, to my soul, and then to other people who ask questions. But feel free to like DM on Instagram any questions, and I'll either do an Insta story or a podcast if I feel it would be valuable, not only for you, obviously for you, but also for other people. And 99% of the time it is, unless you're in victim mentality, but that's not the people who I call in here. Okay. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with anyone and everyone that you think would benefit from it. Share it on your social media and tag me at Jill Alana Nixon so I can hear what breakthroughs and insights you got. If you really enjoyed this, I would really appreciate if you wrote a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you do this and you email my team, JillAlanaNixon@gmail.com, we'll link it in the show notes, I will send you a cord-cutting transmission that is only available through this avenue, so that you can clear out people, places, habits, or situations that are no longer in alignment with your highest good and call back your power. Thank you so much and have the most beautiful, blessed day.